Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran wa the Juz of the Quran and Spares. We began reading from Surah Ash-Shu'ara. Imam Al-Ghazali's selection, really, it's the very end of the surah, verses 213 to 227. These verses address, in fact, the name of the surah is named after the poets, the Shu'ara, and that's where what poets do, and the position, how they are evaluated. If they are believers, if they say something good, then that's basically the ones that who are on the right path. But we will get to that inshallah in due time, still paving the way until we get to the end of the surah, a lengthy surah. At the beginning of the surah, we do have the Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminding the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that this is in verse 3, perhaps you, meaning the Prophet or Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, perhaps you will grieve yourself to death over their disbelief. After stating that these are the verses of the clear book, they are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is guidance for humanity. And of course, every prophet began, some of those prophets were limited to their own community. The message of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is universal, but nevertheless, he began with his immediate family, with his immediate community, with people that he knew in Mecca. And obviously, no prophet was ever received with open arms. People were not euphoric. There will be challenges. There will be few at the beginning who will believe. And then the more people who believe, then the leaders of the community who insist on not believing, they will feel the heat of the change. Things are changing. This will change the dynamics in the society. They will lose their influence. This is why some of the leaders of the Meccans, the Arab tribes, some of their leaders wanted to negotiate with the Prophet ﷺ at one point, that they will alternate. They will believe in his God. They think that this is really like a club. We'll believe in your God 1 year, and you believe in our God 1 year. And they thought that this something about the authority, in the sense of the chair, as we call it, that this is the seat of governance, that the Prophet ﷺ was doing this because he was interested in becoming the leader, and they offered to make him king. At one point, they thought that if this is something that is really the work of magic, that the Prophet ﷺ was touched by any magicians, that they will get the best healers to heal him from magic, physicians, if it's really a woman. They only thought about material things. They could not conceive that there was a message that they have to listen to. And persecution began. The Prophet ﷺ himself was protected by his uncle, Abu Talib. His uncles some of them became believers. Some of them rejected the Islam. They rejected the message of their own nephew. One of them, it seems that he did not believe, but nevertheless, Abu Talib, he raised the Prophet ﷺ. He protected him. But some of those early companions who were slaves, the meek and the weak, and they were persecuted. Some of them were killed. That's the That's the there's a big, this is a big price that they have paid. They were tortured in the heat of the desert. They were literally killed, and the Prophet ﷺ was there and he was talking to them. Imagine what went through the heart of the Prophet ﷺ, the pain, the of losing his, very few uh, people. There were those who were well known and powerful, like Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, for example, radiallahu anhu. But as far as the slaves were concerned, some of them were killed. A sad story. Abu Bakr himself, the first man to accept the faith, and he used his wealth to uh, buy some of those slaves and set them free, those who became believers. At any rate, so this verse 3 reminds the Prophet ﷺ not to, perhaps you will grieve yourself to death over their belief. Allah subhanahu could have sent a sign from the sky, meaning a compelling sign that will leave their necks bent in utter submission to it. That nevertheless, whatever new reminder comes to them from the most compassionate, they will always turn away from it. They deny the truth, so they will soon face the consequences of their ridicule. And then the Quran points to the signs in the universe, the types of min kulli zawjin kareem. It has been translated into fine plants, but I would stick to the pairs, because it says kul zawj. It could be the flora and fauna. Really, this is min kulli zawjin kareem, flora and fauna. And it's an amazing thing what they had in the Arabian Peninsula that we don't have anymore. Things that went extinct. At any rate, subhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ said that the Day of Judgment will not unfold until the peninsula, the Arab peninsula of the Arabs will return green the way it used to be. And of course, we know that all this petroleum that they have in and I guess it's originally forests that, subhanAllah, they were buried one way or the other. So originally organic material must have been massive. Also, there were from satellite images, you can see the places where there used to be water creeks and what have you. And anyone flies north of the peninsula today will see greenery. And in fact, for the last few years, we started seeing some snow in these northern areas. So there are signs that they could look at, but most of them do not believe. It's egoistic. Sometimes they know the truth and they just simply insist on their own way, being caught in the web of personal interests. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ, and your Lord is certainly the Almighty, most merciful. And now the narrative shifts to Prophet Moses, Musa alayhi salam. And I've said in the past, it seems that Prophet Moses, of course, definitely he's mentioned most in the Quran by name 136 times, and the verses, the context that speak about Prophet Moses is definitely larger. Like here, verse 10, it mentions Prophet Moses, and it continues when it is Prophet Moses. He says, "He replied, my Lord, I fear that they will reject me. So here, his name is not mentioned, but it's about him. وَيَضِيقُ صَدْرِي, and so my heart will be broken and my tongue will be tied. So send Aaron, Harun alayhi salam, his brother, along as of course, as a messenger. Still, it's Prophet Moses. Verse 14, it is Prophet Moses. Verse 15, it's about Prophet Moses. 16, it's about, of course, it starts basically now. Aaron is part of the picture, so it uses the sometimes the dual suffix pronoun, or and the subsequently the debate, the discussion with the Pharaoh himself. So there are many verses in the Quran, 136 times, while Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is mentioned 5 times, 4 as Muhammad and once as Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As if trying to have the difficulty of reaching out to people and disseminating the message and calling people to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the final message, the Qur'an, a universal message at this stage now in human history. Now humanity is ready for this final message. As if basically it says to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you are facing those leaders in Mecca, those who reject the faith, those who do all these things to your own nascent small community, think about, as if it says, look now at the story of Musa alayhi salam. What is it that he has? And of course, we know the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, that we talk about the history of it is, in a nutshell, that there was the children of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam, 10 of them plotted against Yusuf, Joseph alayhi salam, and ultimately they, rather than killing him, as the first plan B was just leave him in a well, and the caravans will pass by and they will take him. And indeed they passed by, they found him, they took him to Egypt, they sold him as a slave. Long story cut short, he grew up. He's a prophet of God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him how to interpret dreams also, and he lands in jail when he refused to commit adultery with the wife of the political leader where he lived. In fact, she raised him, and then later on she was tempted, but he refused. He landed in jail, and one day that political leader Aziz, he saw in a dream that he interpreted. This is not the time to talk about the details. At any rate, there later on he was appointed as, in the language of today, like the minister of economy, and he had a plan, a 14 years plan, you might say 15, a 14 years plan, 7 years of saving the crops, the wheat, and 7 years of famine, drought, that will consume what they have saved for 7 years. His family went through famine, and his brothers started coming to him. He knew them, did not know him, of course. He knew them because their shape did not change. They did not know him because they left him as a baby, as a child, and now he's a man in such a position. It would not occur to them that he's Yusuf alayhi salam. Ultimately, he told them they were not, definitely, even after all these years, they were not nice. They were not polite. when they accused their 11th brother, Benjamin, as the story goes, not being polite in the way they have dealt with their father, Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam. Definitely, it is uquq, basically mistreating their father. What could be worse than plotting against your own brother, half brother? Uh, and really mentioning all, saying all these harsh things to their father, lying to him, and forgetting that he's a prophet. This is at any rate. So he ultimately they ended up in Egypt. He hosted them. These were the good days, and down the road they became many, and the Pharaoh enslaved them, as we will, from the context that we have. The Pharaoh enslaved them, he tortured them, he started killing the baby boys, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed that Musa alayhi salam will be saved, and he inspired his mom to put him in a wooden a box, if you will, put him in the water. He ended up on the shore next to the family of the Pharaoh, the wife of the Pharaoh. Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in her heart to love this baby, and she asked that he would be saved, taking him as like a child. And it seems that she did not have children. So he was raised in the house of the Pharaoh. So you might say at least food and shelter, but it goes beyond this. We have two things: best material conditions, being raised in the palaces, best material conditions, but of course lacking the ethics, the adab. The Pharaoh did not have the what it takes. He did not have the right thing to convey to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, and who, of course, as a strong man, he was short-tempered. Alayhi salam, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. When there was an Egyptian, meaning here we talk about the Israelites, the children of Israel, one from the people of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, one from the Egyptians. They had a quarrel, and Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam wanted to support his next of kin, and he hit the Egyptian. He just simply, it was one blow, and Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam killed him. So it's not really premeditated. That's one thing. Number two, that was not the intention, but it happened. This is qadr. This is fate, and of course, Sayyidina Musa realized this is from Satan. Down the road, this led to Sayyidina Musa to escape to. He ended up in Madian, and after 8 or 10 years, he went back. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala chose him as a prophet, and now we have the message. Beginning with verse 10, remember when your Lord called out to Moses, go to the wrongdoing people. Who are they? The people of the Pharaoh. Will they not fear Allah? وَإِذْ نَادَى رَبُّكَ مُوسَىٰ أَنِ ائْتِ الْقَوْمَ الظَّالِمِينَ قَوْمَ فِرْعَوْنَ أَلَا يَتَّقُونَ. Now, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, now what he has in mind is what he did before escaping. This is why his immediate, the first reaction here in this context was قال رب إني أخاف أن يكذبون ويضيق صدري ولا ينطلق لساني فأرسل هارون. قال رب إني أخاف أن يكذبون. My Lord, I fear that they will reject me, and so my heart will be broken and my tongue will be tied. So send Aaron along as a messenger. ويضيق صدري ولا ينطلق لساني فأرسل هارون. And here he mentions what he has done in the past. وَلَهُمْ عَلَيَّ ذَنْبٌ فَأَخَافُ أَن يَقْتُلُونَ. Also, they have a charge against me. It's not only a charge, them really. he admits that he killed the Egyptian by mistake before becoming a prophet. So I fear they may kill me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assured him and assured Sayyidina Harun alayhi salam. قال كلا فاذهب بآياتنا إنا معكم مستمعون. Allah responded, certainly not. So go both of you with our signs, we will be with you listening. Go to the Pharaoh and say, we are messengers from the Lord of all worlds. فأتيا فرعون فقولا إنا رسول رب العالمين أن أرسل معنا بني إسرائيل. Command to say, let the children of Israel go with us. Let them, because why this demand in this fashion? Because they were enslaved in bondage and persecuted. The أن أرسل معنا بني إسرائيل in Ibn Kathir's tafsir, his exegesis, in this context, he mentions the following, and I will read the Arabic. It's beautiful, and I will translate. أن أرسل معنا بني إسرائيل, he said, أي أطلقهم من أسارك وقبضتك وقهرك وتعذيبك فإنهم عباد الله المؤمنون وحزبه المخلصون وهم معك في العذاب المهين. So set them free from your bondage, from your fist, from your tyranny, from your torture. For they are the servants of Allah, the believers. They are His sincere party. Why am I highlighting this? فإنهم عباد الله المؤمنون. The community of believers of any prophet was never about their ethnicity, was never about cultural identity, was never about anything special. There's nothing special except that they were a community of believers. Look at the community of believers who believed in the Prophet ﷺ. No ethnicity. There were, if you talk about skin color, the Quran refers to skin color, tongues, and skin colors. In fact, these are signs pointing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have Abyssinians, Africans, Sayyidina Bilal, he was Abyssinian, Habashi, African, black. Suhaib al-Rumi, let's talk about Roman, could be Caucasian. Salman al-Farsi, the Persian, maybe he was Aryan. You talk about the Arabs. The community was, but the bottom line, they were Muslims not because they were ethnicities. In fact, it's a universal message. They talk about Southeast Asia, all those Malay and even next door Muslims today in Vietnam, in Cambodia, and in China. Different ethnicities of Muslims in China, in Scandinavian countries today, in South Africa, in Latin America. Even Native Americans. There's no place on earth except that there are Muslims. But again, it's not about ethnicity. And to highlight the ethnicity is extremely problematic, because this, how could someone who is definitely not Jewish today who converts to Judaism, and does it mean that she changed her ethnicity once she became Jew? And of course, the moment she becomes Jew officially it's a very controlled enterprise. But the idea is, does it that if someone becomes Jewish, does it mean that they have changed their ethnicity? Think about it. Of course, the answer is no. There, you are a follower, you are a part of the community of believers because either you believe or you don't. Cultural Jew, like cultural Muslim, that doesn't really make sense. And this is not enough. You need to be a believer sincerely. You need to believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to believe in the oneness of God. Nothing is like unto Him. No, no other God in this universe. As simple as that, as complex as that. That's the foundation of belief. That's the cornerstone. Now the Pharaoh would respond, and the response needs quite some time to deal with and explain, and we will postpone this until the next session, inshallah. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.